And that's for being nice, full stop.
You make me blush.
And just relax.
I don't know what to say.
Just shut up then. And come to bed.
On Channel 4, Teenage Health Freak. Here on Yorkshire Television, after the break, a report on the ambulance service in World in Action.
Splitting up but still having to live together is best handled with maturity.
Let's just say I was seeing somebody.
Yeah?
You'd be jealous.
No, I wouldn't.
You would.
I wouldn't. I'll just pretend I'm not here.
Honesty.
Get drunk with the boys again?
No, I was out all night with a woman. Minnie. That's what she's called. I remember now, Minnie. I'm sorry.
Stuck on You, 8:30 Tuesday on ITV.
Sorry.
Smells like Quavers. Salt and vinegar flavour. Quaver-tastic. Ooh, Quavers, lovely Quavers. Yum, yum. I can't wait. I've got to have a Quaver.
New salt and vinegar flavour.
Where can you find permanently low prices on fresh bread, fruit and vegetables, and a special treat for Mother's Day? At Asda, where prices are constantly checked to keep them low. That's Asda Price.
So you can tell us apart. He sounds different. Do I? I see what you mean.
Cadbury's Flake, the crumbliest, flakiest milk chocolate in the world.
Wake up in the morning, wanting some breakfast.
There's one sunflower spread with 25% less fat and 100% taste. Its name? Yeah, that's right.
Ah, what a wise buy. I wanted to give you those two for that one. No. No?
No.
God, you're just doing it because people like.
No, because it's just a waste. I'll have to come back and buy this tomorrow.
Why Daz Ultra?
Because I like how white it makes everything. Yeah, I trust it. It's not the most expensive, but I don't see why I should pay any more when it does the job.
It's true. Daz Ultra users won't swap. See that over there? That's the camera. You're both on television.
How do you clear a blocked nose? With a decongestant pill or with Vick Sinex? Because Sinex goes straight to your nose, it goes straight to work. A decongestant pill works too, but it has to get into your system before it gets to work on your nose. And Sinex lasts longer than many pills. Sinex works in seconds, lasts for up to 8 hours.
But we need it so bad. We got to have it so bad. The way we want it so bad. Ha! Got to have it so bad. Give it to me so bad. We
This week in 3D, joyriders.
We all talk to each other about what cars we've taken and how fast we've done in them, and just think at the time like it was a laugh.
You're with me now, you're in the prison, and you'll do what I tell you.
And I've seen people's heads stoved in with things like this. So if you'd upset the likes of me in jail, that's what'll happen to you.
Can shock treatment keep them from the road to ruin? 3D, Thursday, 7:30 on ITV.
Now on YTV, a report on the efficiency of the ambulance service and whether it achieves the standards set out in the patient's charter. In World in Action.
Friday night in Hull city centre. There's been an accident. Someone's dialed 999 and called for an ambulance. This time the patient's lucky. The ambulance arrives in 6 minutes. But in Britain today, it isn't always the case. World in Action investigates the crisis in Britain's ambulance services. Why are they taking so long to arrive? Tonight, we're going to recreate what happened when an ambulance was called to a pub in Greater Manchester. We'll see how and why it took the ambulance so long to get there. And by the end of the programme, we'll see what happens to the young person whose life is suddenly put at risk.
Windows went through, a lot of screaming, shouting.
People were throwing things about and screaming and shouting. There was absolute mayhem out there.
I went outside. And I seen someone on the floor, went over to this person. His eyes was wide open, but I went down to listen to his breathing. He weren't moving, he wasn't breathing.
The police arrived and called for an ambulance. It was 7 minutes past midnight. You're about to hear a recording of the actual communication that took place that night between the police, the ambulance crew and the control room.
Shepherd's Arm.
It's at Hall Street at Swinton. About Public House, Hall Street. It's known as the Shepherd's Apartment, Shepherd's Arms. Right, what's happening there? In a large-scale fight, usual injuries.
The ambulance control room assistant contacted an ambulance crew just leaving Hope Hospital in Salford, 3 miles away.
You go to the Showboat Public House. Yeah, what's it called? That's in Hall Street, Swinton. There's a fight going on there. They have told the police. 0009.
Roger, can the time of origin? Can you give me the location again, please?
Time of origin is 0007.
5112.
This is Showboat Public House, Hall Street, Swinton.
You won't happen to know where that is? Hall Street, no idea, over.
Negative, I'm not familiar with that area at all. I know the main roads, that's about all.
Most people do not expect to wait long for an ambulance if they dial 999.
No more than 3 to 5 minutes.
5 or 6 minutes.
5 minutes, yeah.
10 minutes?
5 minutes.
In fact, the government's Patients Charter says the maximum time you should expect to wait for an ambulance is 14 minutes in urban areas and 19 minutes in rural places. In practice, however, these targets are not always met. John and Sarah Stanton live in the West Midlands. John suffers from asthma. One night last September, he had a particularly severe attack. Sarah called the doctor, but no one came.
He got so bad he was smothering. I dialed 999. They asked me what was wrong, so I told them that he'd had a bad asthma attack. And I said that he was smothering to death. And I said, for God's sake, send an ambulance quick.
Mrs. Stanton called for an ambulance at 10:50 p.m. As she did so, the doctor arrived. He too called for an ambulance.
We waited and waited. and he kept giving him the inhaler, the doctor did. So the doctor came back in again, he said he'd rang again, and the ambulance was on its way again. And we still waited. And, well, again, the ambulance come, he was nearly dead. So when the ambulance men came, the doctor said to the ambulance men, he said, he's all yours. He said, but we nearly lost him.
It had taken 25 minutes for the ambulance to arrive. No reason was given for the delay.
I've never been so frightened in all my life as I was that night, because I've never experienced death, but I could see that he was nearly dead.
Doctors stress how critical an ambulance delay can be in these kind of cases.
People with acute asthmatic attacks can become very ill very quickly. Once, of course, they stop breathing altogether, then again they need help within minutes.
Kevin Harrison is the barman in a Birmingham pub. The landlord's son, Neil, is a diabetic. One night he suddenly collapsed.
I ran upstairs and there was Neil slumped on the floor. We managed to get him into the bedroom, ran down here to dial 999 for the ambulance, as if he'd have gone into a coma, which he did, we could have lost him.
The time was 8:30 p.m.
When the ambulance did arrive, after 28 minutes, the crew was up there within minutes and revived Neil. I mean, I got no complaints about the crew. That was fantastic. I mean, marvellous crew. But it's just the length of time it took for an ambulance to arrive at a case of matter of life and death.
According to the latest government figures, the West Midlands ambulance service is one of 27 in Britain that are failing to meet the maximum response times. They declined to be interviewed for this programme. Meanwhile, in our developing emergency at the Shepherd's Arms, it's now 12:15, 8 minutes since an ambulance was called.
I was actually with the lad on the floor. First I gave him mouth to mouth for about 15, 20 seconds. He weren't breathing back when I was blowing air into him. He was coming out, but he wasn't sucking back in. There was a lot of shouting going on saying, "Where is the ambulance?"
South